Good afternoon, everybody. We are so honored and excited to have today Dan Hampton. He's the founder and CEO of Backpack Buddies Foundation in Loudoun County. Dan, thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you today. Tell me a little bit about yourself, a little bit bio about you, who you are. How did you come up ending having, creating the Backpack Buddies?
Absolutely. Look, it's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate being able to sit here on the couch and on the sofas with you. So I'm originally a native New Jersey. Moved out here primarily for work. Came out originally in Frederick, Maryland, and settled in Leesburg in 2005. So I think I've been here the majority of my life now. Very fortunate, my now wife followed me. And we've been able to create our home here with our 2 boys and our dog. And my idea of giving back and being philanthropic was instilled in me from my parents at a very early age. I've been doing it ever since I was a teenager. But the idea specifically around our foundation, around BBFL, actually came out of 2 sources. One was my wife as a teacher, telling me about the needs of students in schools, about what we knew there were students that were dealing with food insecurity and not having food to eat. And then also from my Rotary Club. There were members of my club who said, hey, my organizations do this. And through those conversations, we started, a few of us got together and said, we need to solve this problem somehow. 501c3 sounds like the best idea. Because we can take these individual groups that sometimes were PTAs, sometimes we're just local parents getting together, and say, if there's a 501c3, at least we can get corporate donations in. If nothing else, we can get bigger checks from the broader community. We started trying to form that and try to put that whole idea together. And the short version of that is, for me, it was taking too long. So I walked in my office one morning, I registered for a tax ID number, and about 12 years later, here we are as Backpack Buddies Foundation. And it's been an amazing ride ever since.
Yeah, wow. Tell us a little bit about the foundation. What different program you have?
So there are not a lot of incorporated foundations that do what we do. There's a lot of groups across the country that do what we do. There's a lot of amazing programs within the county that do what we do. And we are partners with a number of them. And within this county, when we were deciding to start about how are we going to solve a food problem, like do we want to be a pantry, a warehouse where we're storing food, buying food, getting food donations? Do we want to go through the bureaucracy of trying to go through permitting and the licensing and all the things you have to do to have a facility, manage a facility, versus just can we raise money and give the money out and be an intermediary so that we could at least be a grant writer almost, and do a lot of vetting on behalf of the dollars that came in and became the responsible party. And we decided the best way to do it is to be that intermediary. Like we can create a sense of community where we can bring these groups together almost through annual summits, which we have done successfully almost through COVID, which are due to come back, fortunately. So we can all share resources and ideas and challenges because they're all facing similar challenges. And then within that, being a grant writer means we have a little bit more flexibility. And that is really where we've been making our real impact on our community, because as the need unfortunately has risen, not gone the other way, we have been able to keep up with that check writing, but it gets harder every year as a nonprofit. I think most nonprofit leaders will tell you the same thing. We're all going after the same limited dollars with all amazing causes. And we're hoping that if we tell you there's a starving child in Loudoun County that pulls a heartstring, hopefully a little bit deeper than maybe some others, but it's not a simple thing running a nonprofit. It's a labor of love more than anything. I'm very fortunate I have a board that's just as passionate. Actually, we all pay to be on our board. Nobody is paid, we're all volunteers, and we all make annual, actually financial commitments to be board members.
If you go back from the time you start, and I know it was probably a long journey for you then, is that anything you did accomplish as of today, you are proud of, and you will say, that was the biggest thing I accomplished and I am proud of?
I think there's two that I can point to. I think for me personally, it's the impact on my children. They get to see from two perspectives. One, that they do have food every day, and we are fortunate, and they understand that, you know, both my wife and I work very hard to make sure they have what they need, and that they understand there are kids out there who don't have what they have. So there is a sense of humbling, I'm hoping, with my kids, but also instilling to not judge others if they realize they have friends that are not as in a position we are. Look, I think as comfortable as my kids are, I know they have friends that are better off than we are financially, and that's okay. And I want them to understand there's these different places, but not that everyone's equal in how you want to treat them. And then the impact in general of what we do is when you hear from programs, you hear from parent liaisons about what that check meant to them, the grant that we wrote meant to them, the impact to their community, the impact to that school, to that family. You can't help but be proud. You can't help but get re-energized in any one of those low moments you might have where you're burnt out from life, from work, from all this. And then you hear the story, you're like, we got to go keep doing this. Like every year the board gets together and goes, are we good? And it's emphatically, let's keep going.
And I got involved with you in a small portion, a couple of months, and I was so impressed of how many schools you work with, and also you gave over $1 million. I mean, this is so amazing. That number, it's not a small number.
No. When I honestly, if you listen to anyone when I first started the organization, I said, look, if we give out $10,000, $20,000 a year, we're winning. Like, I had no vision that we'd be at any of the numbers that we're at today. And when it became real that we all of a sudden were giving out $60,000, $70,000, $80,000+ a year, and then what we did with a number of organizations through COVID to ramp up and go through that, which we're very fortunate we had the capability to do it through there. When we started thinking, like, how much have we really given? And we were doing math, and our treasurer comes and goes, I think we're over this number. We're like, this is something. Like, this is an amazing thing that I was like, in 10 years, if I gave $100,000, I would have been like over the moon. And I'm sitting here like, we gave over $1 million, which is like an incredible number.
That's not a small number.
No, and we really are like a really bootstrapped organization that runs really lean. And we really, you know, we want to ensure that if you give us $1, we know the bulk of that dollar is going right back out to feed a child, and not into salary, overhead, and expense. We want you to know your money's working for the cause.
So I would say then mostly your relationship is school, is you and the schools, correct?
It depends. It's a mix. We have relationships direct with some schools because the individual food programs are run differently at each school. Some are run through the schools directly, and that's through the parent liaisons, and maybe through the PTO or PTA, depending which organization is there. There's others that are run through church groups, where the churches are the ones that provide the food individually to other schools. There's others that are just corporate, where they're sponsored of it, and then there's also food pantries that ultimately the same population is going to those pantries for need. So we are a little diverse in who we work with. But as long as you're here in Loudoun County trying to feed a school-age child, which in extension is feeding their family, because that's really the reality of it.
That's what it is.
Chances are there is a way for us to help out if it fits within that need of food insecurity.
This is great. Talk to us about fun stuff, events. I know you have 3 big events coming up.
We have 3 big ones coming up. So every single year, our biggest event that we're the most proud of is our Friendsgiving Gala. We are still finalizing the date for that, and we will absolutely give it to you as soon as we have it. We have been doing that almost since the beginning. It has been one of the most fun things I've ever experienced because it is kind of a very fun, not stuffy kind of gala. I think you and I probably go to a lot of these events, and as amazing as they are, this amazing organization, sometimes you're just like, I want to have a little bit more fun. Ours is set up for fun and for success, and we're very, very fortunate to have a very loyal base that participates in that one. This year we're going to start something new. We're going to bring casino night out as well, which we are very excited for the idea. This has been in the works for about 2 years. And last year we did our first annual golf tournament, and it was such a success. We decided let's do it again.
Let's do it again.
And we also have smaller events throughout the year. We try to move across the county. One of the biggest challenges I think we have, which I think other programs, either similar to us or either nonprofits, is it's awareness.
Yeah.
We're in a county that is labeled as one of the richest, if not the richest in the country.
Absolutely.
And when you hear those things, you don't think about social problems. And we have them all. We have children that are hungry. We have abused women. We have single parents. We have all different things that go around. You take the norm of you take every social issue. Loudoun County has it. You just don't always see it. Literally, when it comes to what we do, I know it could be your neighbor, and you won't know. You just won't. And people work really hard out of pride to keep perceptions up. Some really just don't know how to ask for help. Some won't ask for help. But at the end of the day, we want to have some fun. I mean, we're really trying to raise money because we know who the population is that we're helping. So whether it's like we have nights, we're very fortunate the relationship we have with both the Ashburn and Bristol pubs. They do nights with us where we get portions of the proceeds. Other little events we do throughout the year, but our big three this year is definitely the golf tournament, our casino night, and our Friendsgiving Gala. So we are always looking for sponsors. We're always looking for people who just want to come have fun.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, is
and for good cause. That's the most important.
Very, very important that it's for the cause at the end of the day. I mean, I have a friend of mine who comes to a lot of these, and he will joke every year, it's for the kids. So when he hands me his credit card every year, he's like, it's for the kids, I'm good. But that's who it is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we can tell you the impacts of what happens to a child when they're hungry. You know, as an adult, when you get hungry, you know, you feel tired, you might have a headache, you feel like you just don't feel yourself. But as an adult, you can kind of control it to a degree. Children can't.
Yeah.
So if you're putting them in an environment where they're supposed to learn and their brain just doesn't function, that means they're not learning on Monday until the school's feeding them again. They might not be learning on Tuesday because all this nutrition has to catch back up.
Yeah. So
you might get them learning maybe part of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the cycle starts all over again. These programs fill that gap to make sure that cycle doesn't have to happen over a weekend. And that way a child who normally would be an amazing child, a really smart student, has a true opportunity to be 5 days a week as an active learner. So that's what we hear from teachers. The impact from what we hear from teachers and principals is this kid was struggling. Now they're eating 7 days a week, not just 3 or 4 days in school, and now they're excelling. So I can't think of a better cause to do it.
Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you for all you do. Any plan of any, let's say, any new plan you're thinking, any new accomplishment you're working on from now to the end of the year, or maybe beginning of 2027?
Well,
maybe expansion or something like that. Maybe
expansion. Dude, we're having a lot of fun today with Loudoun County on its own. I mean, it would be amazing if look, it's all at the end of the day, it's a nonprofit. It's about funds, right? If I had enough funds, or should we as a foundation had enough funds to expand this out, because we know we can cover our core here, and then maybe push it to a different county. You might think about that. Yeah. Or it would be great to set up an endowment so we know the interest can carry us for a while. But no, I think if anything, when we talk about expansion, it's expansion of the offerings we can have for awareness and for fundraising. So we are always brain thinking and brainstorming, trying to find fun ways to get the community involved with us while raising awareness. So like the example, we started, thankfully we have the relationship with pubs. Going to the Ashburn pub and going to the Bristol pub, and people are just there on their night to be there. Yeah. And you start explaining who we are and what we do, and they're like, I didn't know. Yeah. And they're willing to give at that point. So that's a lot of where our future plans are, is to continue to market who we are, market the need. Yeah. And look, I'm hoping as a percentage of Loudoun County, our percentage of giving goes up compared to some of our neighbors around here, and it sounds like it's starting to move that way. And I'm encouraged by the direction that we're moving. And I just it's if we find ways to bring in, I think every nonprofit, it's finding ways to bring in new revenue sources. And that's kind of, if we have future expansion plans, it's going to be finding new revenue sources right now.
Yeah.
Because we are supporting the majority of the programs that exist.
What is all the most need? I know probably money, that the first thing will be always on
money.
Is nonprofit money. What else? How about volunteers?
All right, so money obviously is number one. It will always be number one. So we do want community champions. One of the things we're proud of is that we were able to create a program around some of our community partners where they were able to go out to their networks and explain the need and help raise money. But it's, we're still looking for new board members that want to be active with our organization and have a real passion around our cause and our mission. There's skill sets that everyone comes with that are unique, and I'm very fortunate about over the last couple of years the board members we were able to bring on as we expanded. We I think we're in a much better position today as an organization than we've ever been, and a lot of that I have to give a ton of credit to my board over. They're an amazing group of individuals. They will probably joke they can run it without me, and I'm very proud. But it's a testament to them and how amazing they are. But it's really it really comes down to money, and it comes down to how do you want to be involved. So because we are grant writing, we take in money to fundraise, then we provide grants to organizations. We're not doing physical stuff, but with the events that we have throughout the year, we're always looking for volunteers that want to be involved with it. But the biggest things that we could get from anybody right now outside of a checkbook is advocacy and spreading awareness. It is really,
and I really, this is why I brought you in. Like, I have been doing this for 5-6 years, and I will tell you the idea started with me that I met one nonprofit organization and I didn't know anything about them, and I live here, so I knew that hey, I need to do this so I can, because there is a lot of nonprofit organization in the county, and I was really, the way when I knew about you then and about the organization. I didn't know about you guys. I didn't know about anything until we started the conversation, and that's why, wow, you do amazing work.
I think we have the same. We I think we suffer the same way with a lot of nonprofits. We tend to stay very humble in our corner of the world because we just do what we do and we try to make the biggest impact. But over the last couple of years, we have an amazing marketing partner and team that we brought in would work with us, and their encouragement to let's be a little more vocal, let's brag a little bit about what we do. Their personal encouragement to me and our board members about go really work on your own networks and tell people what you do.
Absolutely.
Like it's
because people they don't know what they don't know, right? If they want to help, they need to know.
And
you just do amazing work.
Well, thank you. We have a mission to make sure these kids are fed in our schools. If you gave me utopia and said, what does the end of this look like? It would be that there'd be a sign in Loudoun County that says, welcome to Loudoun County, no child is hungry. And if that ever happened, we wouldn't have to exist anymore, and I'll go find other cause to go fight for. But it's a lot of work to get to that point, and until that happens, this will be the fight.
Dan, thank you very, very much for everything you do, you and the board and all your team. I was so honored to have you today here and to talk about Backpack Buddies, because I didn't know what you do until you really won the Sweep Fund program, and that's why I said, wow. So thank you for everything you do. We will share the link of the website, and also if somebody wants to be part of the 3 event coming in, and any help, any volunteer, I'm sure it will be appreciated by you and by your board member.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for your time today. I know you are busy.
No, I appreciate the time that you're doing with us. It means a lot.
Thank you.
You do amazing work as well, so to be able to be in a little bit of your spotlight means a lot.
Because of you and all of you, I'm here where I am. I don't take any credit on anything, because it's because of you guys, all of you.
It definitely takes a village.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.